Okay, what are we doing? Why am I here?
You are talking about God woke.
Oh, God woke. All right, let me make it very brief, because I bore myself if I talk too much. Years ago, I wrote a poem. People are always asking me, how do you feel about God? Now, I don't think God is worried about how I feel about God. But at the same time, I thought I'd write a little poem and express some of my feelings. So I wrote a poem called God Woke, which obviously is a masterpiece. And then I kind of forgot about it. But my friend Bill, he must have read it and liked it. And he said, I'm going to do a book, a comic book, a graphic novel of your poem. I said, it's already been written. He said, well, I'll use the poem, but I'll do illustrations. I took a look at what he had done some time ago. The illustrations are beautiful. I was so fascinated by them, I forgot to read the poem. But if you get a copy of the book, you better read the poem also. And that's it. It was nice talking to you. I guess I'll go somewhere else now. I can't think of anything else to say.
Did you think it would be such a huge thing?
Did I think it would be such a huge thing? Of course, everything I write is a huge thing.
Well, so tell us a little bit about the poem.
Well, in the poem, I tried to put some thoughts and some points in that people generally don't think of. For example, most people say prayers and things that praise the Lord. And I always figure, I don't figure the Lord is so vain that he has to be praised all the time. So, I mention that, but in a poetic way. The poetry is gorgeous. You may not agree with the sentiments, but you'll say, man, this guy can write poems. I mean, I'm my biggest fan. I read it the other day, and I thought, how could I have ever written anything so wonderful? And I don't know if that answered your question or not.
It does. Well, tell us a little bit more about the story.
About the story?
Mm-hmm.
I hate to disappoint you. There isn't a story to God Woke. It's just a lot of ideas, a lot of points, a lot of things. You'll have to read it yourself. And of course, after you read it, you're going to say, why does Stan waste time writing comics? He should be a religious leader. But I don't have time, I'm sorry. You'll have to get yourself another religious leader.
Have you done poems before?
Oh, sure, I've written many poems. I'm big at poetry. And most of my poems are the kind of rhymes that don't rhyme. The Silver Surfer, everything he said was poetic, but they didn't rhyme, but they were true verses. In fact, how the award committees have overlooked these things for so long, I never know.
All right, I just have to ask you, what other cameos do you want to do?
What other I saw that one here. I was backstage, so I couldn't see it well. When you sit backstage, you see it backwards. So I saw myself backwards, which usually looks better than frontwards. And what did you ask me? What cameos? I did 3 the other day, 3 in a row. I came out to where they were shooting them. I did one for the magician. Who's my magician? Dr. Strange. He passed the test. I did one for Dr. Strange, but to show you that my memory isn't all gone, I'll give you one of Dr. Strange's sayings. There's a word for it, I forgot the word. By the hoary hosts of Hogarth. I don't know how many of you remember that. Or by the shades of the shadowy seraphim. I make those things up, and you're wondering why. So much for Dr. Strange. I also did a cameo for, what were the other two? Hey, Mike, are you back there? Max, do you remember the other two? There you are. Why are you there? No, you're not Max. No, you are Max. I don't see well either. Say something so I know it's you. What was the other one?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy. And what was the other one?
Secret project for Disney.
Oh, the other one I can't tell you. He says it was a secret project for Disney. It's a good thing I have a lousy memory. I would have forgotten and I would have blurted it out. Lucky I don't have a memory. Anyway, all three were magnificent, as you would imagine.
And you were brilliant in the one that played up here.
I was what?
Brilliant.
Well, that was obvious.
Now, you're so optimistic. I've known you for a while now, and you're always happy. Why is that?
Well, you have two choices. You can either be happy or unhappy. Being unhappy doesn't get you anywhere. Being happy, see, that's why I look so wonderful. I'm so incredibly handsome. Because when you're happy, your mouth is like that, and it tightens your whole skin of your whole body. See, when you're unhappy, you're like this. And that doesn't look good. So I'm really unhappy, but I want to look happy, so I'll look as magnificent as you see I look and everything. I have the feeling I'm not answering these questions the right way.
You totally are.
No, we've got to get more intellectual now.
Intellectual, okay. So Silver Surfer is very poetic. But do you feel like God Woke said things that you weren't able to say with another character?
Oh, sure, God Woke says things that I wouldn't have a character say in Marvel because they're too busy fighting the bad guys. But with God Woke, there were no villains around, and I could take my time, and I could say all these brilliant, wonderful things that you're going to be so impressed by when you read the book. Yeah, I can answer seriously.
Well, considering everything that's going on now,
You mean this panel?
Yes. No, this panel, my face hurts from laughing. But do you think that since you're so optimistic, do you think humanity is going in a good direction?
Oh boy, there's a question.
You want it serious.
No, things are getting very strange. Even this business today with the cops and the people they shoot and the people who shoot them. In fact, to show you how interested I am in those things and how I'm trying to help, I have a little button here that you probably can't see right there. My daughter said to me the other day, you know, Dad, it's a shame what's going on. If only somebody could do something to make people realize that we have to have respect for each other. So that made me think, which things usually don't make me think, but that made me think. And I drew something, two hands clasped together, a white hand and a black hand. And above it, I let it respect. And it turned into this pin that I'm wearing. I don't want to make this sound like a sales talk, but these are available. And I think they'll do a hell of a lot of good. We're trying to get a lot of famous people to wear them. And they're very cheap too, so it's not a big money-making thing. They're $10 and you get two of them because we want you to give one to a friend. We want to get these things circulated. A white hand, a black hand clasped together, and the word respect. It just seems to me that that's what America is really all about. So that was my little contribution, and now I can go back to being foolish again.
I like that. But I also wanted to ask you, every time I talk to people, they say, what's it like working with Stan? I want to know what's it like for you working with Bill Shatner?
What it's like for me?
Working with William Shatner.
Well, I have to be honest with you. Bill Shatner is a good friend, and I'm one of his biggest fans. But he's been doing all the work. I haven't really been, he took my poem and he got these wonderful artists to do these great illustrations, but I'm still waiting to get it my bound copy so I can read it and see how good I am.
You haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it bound together in its complete form. And you'll probably get to see it before me because I'm forgetful.
You just sort of implied that you're lazy. I have never seen anyone work as much as you do.
Work? No, I don't work at all. No, seriously. And these guys up here will agree with me. If you're doing what you enjoy doing, it isn't work. Being here at a panel like this, talking to you guys, and you're so great, this isn't work. Being with guys like that who are talented and do what they do, that isn't work. Work is when you're with people you don't care about, and it's doing things you don't like to do. See, for instance, if I had to play golf, I'd be working. I have so many friends, I feel so sorry for them. They work all the time on the golf course. I don't know how they can do it. What was your question? One gets confused.
No, do you take time off? I've never seen you take time off.
Time off from what?
From hanging out with these guys.
No, I only hang around at conventions. I mean, I don't sit on panels 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'd love to, but I don't.
I think we could make that happen.
No, please don't. I think my wife would get a little upset.
You guys feel free to jump in here if you've got questions for Stan. Oh, I'm gonna make them ask questions.
Oh, great. So I can sit and listen to them.
Yeah.
All right.
You said you like them.
Well, I don't dislike them.
I'm going to follow up on what Stan said. It's actually an excellent point that you brought up. We're rolling out God Woke as a 60-page graphic novel digitally. So it's available on Comixology today. It released on Comixology right now. In about 2 or 3 months down the road, in October, then we're going to have a hardcover printed volume, and then you're going to get the volume to display.
I have to wait till October?
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Rush it, will you?
It's digital first, then print.
But that's great. I'm going to get the digital one right away.
And we have some clips.
I read
We actually have some clips that we would love to show because above and beyond a digital comic in Comixology and a print comic, print book, hardcover book, we're doing some CGN work with this.
That would be
going to be a CGN chapter. Yeah, that's bouncing to you again.
Well, I know before we show the clip, I know Stan has to be at probably something fabulous.
You know, whenever they want to get rid of you. I do it all the time, so I'm hip to this. All right, he's been here long enough. Now we want to get to the important stuff. Listen, we know you have someplace more important to go. Thanks a lot for being here. I'm glad you went to the trouble to dream that up instead of just saying, get the hell out of here.